is exciting.
Yeah.
So we're going to be kicking off V-eekly Mand-ate. And we just wanted to give like a short kind of update and then also answer any questions that folks have. So we'll be doing this every Monday. We'll put it out. Hopefully it'll be a short video. And yeah, we'll get started. So we kind of have a format outlined.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to describe some of that?
Yeah, so again, this is intended to be kind of a short touch point to help connect with folks and let people know what's going on. So we have some shared priorities as supervisors that we'll be giving some updates about. We'll also talk about what's happened in the week beforehand, what's coming up, any opportunities for community feedback, and how folks can get involved.
Cool. So we'll start with progress update, and there are shared values and shared like issues that we want to work on. And so we'll give an update on where we are with those joint priorities. Outlining those just in general would be public safety, essential needs, environmental resilience and sustainability, and government access and inclusivity. So those are kind of the big buckets. And then in that, we'll have updates for each of those. That's the progress update part. Should we just jump right into that?
Let's just go ahead and do it.
Okay, so public safety, field mediation has been something that Mandi has spearheaded and I'm super excited about. I don't know if you want to talk about briefly what it is and then kind of where we're at for an update.
Yeah, so we have received a grant. The county and Iowa City applied jointly together to bring field mediation to our community through Community Crisis Response as existing mobile crisis team. So they are going to be upskilled and trained in providing responses for nonviolent disputes as well as for mental health needs. And currently we've been meeting every other week with a lot of community partners, organizations, and other parts of government that have a stake in how this all plays out. And so most recently, we have been discussing referral pathways. We've been working on how we can improve understanding and knowledge of what community currently does so that people are more informed once we start having this new service come on. And recently the request for proposals has gone up for the mediation training part. So we have a national partner who's going to work with community on the training specifically for the field part of mediation, but they like the groups that they work with to have a local partner for the general mediation training. And so folks can go to Community Crisis Services website right now and find that RFP up if anybody knows any mediators in the community that are interested in being a part of that.
Yeah, and so kind of a quick example of field mediation would be like, you know, if there's neighbors are outside disputing over a trash can or something, and you don't necessarily want to call police, but you definitely feel like something could escalate. So here we would be able to call field mediation.
Yes.
So that's kind of just the shorthand as to what could it be used for.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's exciting. They also have a site visit coming, and so we're going to be having different events at different places around the county, and that's going to be July 29th and 30th. So right now we're working on with a couple other committee members putting those together.
Yeah, so we'll have some public facing events, and they'll be meeting with more of our community to find out, you know, exactly how this can work best here, because it's been really successful in Dayton, Ohio, and some other places, but we acknowledge that, you know, every community is different, so we want as many people on board as we can.
Cool. So the next bucket is essential needs, and under that we have three things: affordable housing, food access, and medical care. And so affordable housing, on June 25th, we have a meeting with other housing partners to kind of discuss the full housing needs picture. So we will report back on some of that.
Yeah. And then
the environmental resilience and sustainability is the next big bucket. Under that, we have data centers.
Mm-hmm. Data centers is definitely something that we've both been working on. V has done a lot. You had a session at NACO about that, right?
Yeah, I went to the legislative conference in DC, and it was pretty much the whole conference was focused on data centers and AI. So I brought back a lot of that information. Fortunately, staff, we had already done a moratorium in December. And so I went to this conference in January and really was very eye-opening. And so Mandi and I have been actually the only two supervisors who have gone on every tour that the planning department has put together. The one in Altoona, which is Meta's international data center, and then the one in Cedar Rapids QTS site, which is 7,000 workers, and was just like being in a planet of, it just was wild.
Yeah, that one was intense.
Yeah.
I'm also part of a local climate policy network. And so I was able to connect our planning, development, and sustainability team with folks in California who have had a lot more experience than we have had so far with data centers, so that they were able to kind of share some of the restrictions that they've put on in place as well.
So we're going to get a staff update from PDS, from our planning department, and then we're going to have some public hearings, which when you do an ordinance change is very normal, but we're going to be asking them to do these public hearings out in the community. So hopefully that will be at some point this summer. We'll get those scheduled. Up next, we have government accessibility and inclusivity, and kind of two things under that. Do you want to take the first?
Yes. Actually, were you able to edit this in?
Yeah.
Okay, because I need to go see when my next chat is. So you can
sure. Yeah, I'll take
that.
this.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all right. We'll keep it real time. Constituent chats. I have every Friday. I will still be at Deluxe, and from at 8 a.m. And then I'm going to be around the community twice a month at different times in different places. So those constituent chats are really set up to have like a regular time for you all to come and just, see us in person, ask us questions. Hopefully this video is a little bit helpful in terms of what we're working on and what we're, what our goals are. But maybe you have more specific questions about something that you want to dig into, or an idea. One of the things that came up in one of my chats was public utility for everything, including internet. So, I love these ideas. Definitely going to look into that. So because there are other communities that do that.
And
when is yours?
Yes, my next chat is scheduled. It's a joint community chat with Councilor Katie Freeman in Coralville at the Coralville Brugger's Bagels. It's at 11:30 tomorrow. It was scheduled before we scheduled our certification of votes, so I might be a little late, but Katie should be there, and I'll be there as soon as I can.
Cool. Awesome. That's such a great idea. And then we also have listed under here additional meetings that we might have coming up in the community. So at this point, I don't have any, but do you?
Not as far as,
like
official
week.
county meetings, but we had a couple community events coming up that
Oh yeah,
we wanted to talk about.
That's true.
We do have the certification votes for the election on Tuesday.
Tomorrow we will be bringing our stamps to sign about 1,000 documents certifying the election results, which is exciting.
And then a couple of key items on Wednesday's regular work session, which is at 9:00 a.m. So for folks that might not know, 9:00 a.m. work sessions on Wednesdays are when we have most of our conversation. We do a lot of in-depth talking about issues that have some back and forth, and then Thursdays are when we do the formal votes. So we don't take formal action on Wednesdays, and we don't talk as much on Thursdays. Both of those meetings are available online for folks that want to join. And this coming Wednesday, we will be discussing the resolution to set November 3rd as the date for jail bond. We'll also be discussing our juvenile detention contract and about $1.3 million in social services block grants. Also, we have some of our county boards and committees. We'll be discussing some appointments to those, including the Food Policy Council, Livable Community for Successful Aging, Planning and Zoning, and Seats Paratransit Advisory Committee. Yeah. Whether you're at the city level or the county level, those local boards and commissions are a really good way to get your foot in the door, start learning more about how the government works. Before I ever ran for office, I served on the Iowa City Community Police Review Board for 4 years, and I highly recommend anybody interested in government or politics do some of that.
Absolutely. I was on the Housing Community Development Commission for Iowa City, and it was absolutely eye-opening to me and a great way to get involved. Yeah. So, And then, so that's Wednesday, as Mandi was saying, that's our work session when we discuss things. And then Thursday, our formal meeting is when we vote. And so this formal work session, we do have kind of standard. We have some public hearings for subdivision applications. This is our night meeting, so it's at 5:30. Normally they're at 9 a.m., but because this is a lot to do with, subdivision applications, we also try and make it a little bit more accessible to have a meeting at night.
So that's once a month.
Once a month, the second Thursday of the month. And then we also have a previously approved $16 million general bond vote. And we needed to move it up simply because of the legislature passing new laws on property taxes. We've already approved this, but it is needing to take a formal vote. So nothing actually terribly out of the ordinary there. But we do have some community stuff coming up.
Yeah, so Great Plains Action Society has been doing a lot of really great community conversations, and these are intended to be about a variety of issues, but the last couple of conversations were centered around the jail, and V and I both attended the first one, and then I was at the last one, and folks kept talking. There's a lot of interest in the topic. The conversations have been really full, and so both of the last two meetings, they ended up having to cut the conversation off because people were still talking after the entire time. And so also the second meeting on this topic had significantly higher turnout than the first.
Mm-hmm.
So they've decided that their two conversations in June will continue to be around the jail.
Mm-hmm.
So this Thursday, I believe it is at 6:30.
Yeah.
They will be meeting for their next community conversation about the jail. And
you can find that on their Great Plains Action Society Facebook page under events too.
Yes. And then Friday, what has quickly become one of my favorite charitable events in our community, Ragers for Charity. They do 2 organizations every quarter. They were amazing to work with back in March for Trans Day of Visibility,
so
and they did Lavender Legal and the Iowa Trans Mutual Aid Fund, which was amazing. And then this time, this coming Friday, it is the 12th from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. at Willow Creek Theater. We'll be raising money for the Immigrant Welcome Network of Johnson County, which V and I are both liaisons to, as well as the UI Immigrant Legal Clinic. So I believe we'll both be there, and we'd love to see y'all out there too.
Yeah. So typically we have a few more categories that we will be talking about. Basically things like what decision needs to have community input on, which of course that we always encourage community input. I think we're just trying to flag items that we would like to, hear more from you potentially in the work session or at the formal meetings. And then we'd also like to have a resident question of the week. I just think that would be super fun. Yeah. So you can email that to us, or when you see us around, we'll just kind of take questions as they come, and then we'll discuss and bring those to here. So
or even just drop it in a comment on the post.
Yeah, also that. And then the last thing, of course, is always how to get involved. We find that to be incredibly important, valuable. We are public servants. We work for you, and we like to work alongside you and in collaboration and coalition. So how to get involved will, I think, mostly center on things that are coming up and how you can get involved. So if you want a dance party, if you want to get involved on that, I suggest you join us Friday night, because that's definitely where we're going to be. And also just wanted to say thank you for re-electing us.
Yes.
We're really excited. I think that this clearly shows the will of the people to have such high turnout in a primary election, but then to also retain our seats is huge. And so we take it really seriously, and deeply grateful and honored to serve you all for, on my side, 2 years, and on Mandi's side, thankfully, 4 more years. Yeah. So
thank you for your trust.
Yeah, thank you for that, and we will be back here again next week.